Good morning and welcome to Campbell University's Spring Commencement. As you are able, please stand and remain standing for the entry of the university's mace.
Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Spring 2021 Commencement service. Here we are. We are delighted to have you, the students and your families, joining us for our in-person ceremony. This ceremony will include the College of Arts and Sciences and adult and online education. As we all know, COVID-19 has disrupted our lives in many ways. We faced great challenges over the past year, but we made it to the end of this academic year maintaining in-person classes. Our university motto is Ad Astra per Aspera, which means to the stars through difficulty. We've all had on-the-job training to be more resilient this year and to represent well the motto of our university. We're living through one of the most difficult periods in our recent history, but this experience can only make us stronger. We have adapted and we will persevere. And as we wrap up this academic year, there are many reasons to believe that the worst is behind us and there is hope for a return to some kind of normalcy in the coming months. This class of 2021 hails from many states of our beloved country and from several countries around the world. The total number of candidates for degrees conferred during the 2020-2021 academic year is 1,549. And during this previous academic year, Campbell University enrolled approximately 5,964 students in our campus locations online, here in Buies Creek, and also in Raleigh, the North Carolina military bases, and in our Campbell program in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Graduates from this morning's ceremony are from the schools of the university, the College of Arts and Sciences, and adult and online education. At this time, I would like to recognize the two deans of those schools and would ask them to stand when I call their name. Dean Beth Rubin from Adult and Online Education, and Dean Michael Wells, the College of Arts and Sciences. Please join me in thanking these colleagues for their commitment and excellent work. The next portions of our program are as follows. This morning's invocation will be given by Dr. Michael Wells, whom you've just met, the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Greetings will be extended by Mr. Ben Thompson, Chairman of the Campbell University Board of Trustees, and an alumnus of Campbell University, both the classes of 1976 and 1979 from the law school. Following the greetings given by Chairman Thompson, scripture will be read by Dr. Gina Peterman, who is the Mabel Powell Associate Professor of English and Department Chair. Dr. Peterman is retiring after 29 years of invaluable service to our university, and she will read this morning Psalm 100. Now, Dr. Wells, will you come and lead us in our invocation?
Please stand for the invocation. Let us pray. Lord, thank you for this beautiful morning. Thank you for being on our side during this once-in-a-century global pandemic. Thank you for centers of education that prepared those whose expertise guided us through, the healthcare workers, the policymakers, the scientists, the ministers, and the counselors. With their help and our perseverance, we made it to this day, a day to celebrate our graduates. Graduating from college is always laudable, but today's graduates have endured extra hurdles. Thank you for my good colleagues at Campbell University, the administration, the faculty, and the staff. Their 14 months of hard work kept the learning alive and allowed for in-person instruction this year. Lord, be with us now as we recognize each student that read the books, attended the lectures, completed the assignments, and put in all the work to walk across this stage today. In your name we pray, amen.
Please be seated.
Good morning. Graduates, distinguished guests, family members, and friends. On behalf of the Campbell University Board of Trustees, I would like to welcome you to this graduation ceremony. This is indeed a wonderful day that we can be together and celebrate the achievement by our graduates. To the members of the graduating class, we celebrate this day with you and recognize that this is a moment in time which is the culmination of years of hard work. While it's been many years since I sat at a college graduation ceremony as a student, I can still remember the excitement and a little bit of nervousness as I thought about the moment and, more importantly, what I was going to do next. For the graduates, this is indeed a day of celebration and most likely a sense of relief. As you say to yourself, I finally made it, I know that you will think about what you've had to overcome during this journey. Perhaps the understatement of the day is the COVID-19 pandemic has had an impact on nearly every aspect of our lives for the last 14 months. Most certainly, this pandemic affected your educational experiences in ways that we cannot begin to understand. Be assured that we appreciate deeply both your flexibility and your resilience as the administration, faculty, and staff have worked together with our Board of Trustees to ensure, as best we could, the safest campus and the learning experience for our students. As we charted the unknown course together, thank you for your patience and persistence leading up to this grand occasion. The completion of your work and your graduation is a celebration of a wonderful achievement. But as you celebrate, never forget those family members and loved ones who not only helped you and helped make this education possible for you, but also have provided love and support during your educational journey, and especially during these most difficult times. Graduates, you have indeed been at Campbell during some challenging times. The mere fact that we are here in person today for this graduation is a triumph over what so clearly seemed to be insurmountable challenges. I remember so clearly our virtual graduation ceremony last year when there were only 4 of us on the stage and we were speaking to an empty audience. The fact that we are here today in this venue to honor our graduates is indeed a reason for hope and celebration. Graduates, we are confident that you have prepared yourself for your life's work, and the experiences that you've had at Campbell will have a positive influence on you for the rest of your life. You now join the thousands of others who have graduated from this institution and gone out into the world to make their mark. Never forget where you came from. Campbell has served you well, and as you join the circle of alumni, we are confident that you will also serve Campbell well and make us all Campbell proud. Again, we congratulate you on this wonderful achievement and wish you Godspeed. Thank you.
Psalm 100, a psalm for thanksgiving. Shout joyfully to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with jubilation. Come before him with rejoicing. Know that the Lord himself is God. It is he who has made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courtyards with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting, and his faithfulness is to all generations.
Thank you, Dr. Peterman, and thank you for your many years of faithful service here. We will miss you, but you leave your legacy with us. Thank you. It's now the time in our program for the presentation of the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award. Provost Hammond, please join me at the podium. Doctors Bob and Pat Barker, please come forward and join Dr. Hammond. And Barkers, I invite your family to stand while the citation is read. For more than 30 years, the university has been pleased to honor deserving students and outstanding citizens with the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award. Each year, the university bestows the awards to individuals whose character exemplifies the ideals set forth by Algernon Sidney Sullivan.
The late 19th century New York lawyer, Algernon Sidney Sullivan, was a founding partner of the Sullivan Cromwell law firm, one of the preeminent law firms in the United States. He was a devout Christian man, an effective mediator, a compelling orator, and a courageous citizen during perilous times, a noted philanthropist, and a devout family man. Since 1934, the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Foundation has taken as its primary mission the inspiring of young people to lead lives of integrity characterized by service above self and service to the community through the recognition of students and citizens whose lives reflect the nobility of character exemplified in the life of Algernon Sidney Sullivan. Bob and Pat Barker reflect these qualities through a spirit of generosity and humility, as well as an unwavering commitment to strengthen and care for our communities. Bob, a member of the class of 1965 of Campbell College, and Pat Barker have served in a variety of Campbell University volunteer leadership roles, including the Board of Trustees, Presidential Board of Advisors, and School of Business Advisory Council for over 20 years. They have given generously to Campbell University, and their names are found in a number of campus buildings and facilities, including this one. However, beyond their support for campus infrastructure and scholarships, the Barkers are true supporters of community and are committed to investing in individuals for personal change and growth. With an entrepreneurial spirit, the Barkers launched the Bob Barker Company in 1972 out of the back of a barber shop to focus on services for correctional facilities. From there, the Bob Barker Company has introduced many new innovative products to make corrections and detention facilities safer. The company operates with a humble mission of transforming criminal justice while honoring God in all that we do. The Barkers have actively supported Campbell's educational partnership with the Sampson County Correctional Facility in Clinton, North Carolina, to offer a true second chance to individuals incarcerated at this facility. The Barkers have personally advocated for this program and provided considerable resources. The Bob Barker Foundation, an arm of the Bob Barker Company, created to prepare incarcerated individuals physically, spiritually, and emotionally for successful reentry into society, was the catalyst in starting the conversation with Campbell University and provided early financial support for the research and feasibility of the program. The Barkers have also supported the expansion of Campbell Law's Blanchard Community Law Clinic, which is focused on helping citizens experience life beyond incarceration or involvement with the criminal justice system. Beyond these significant contributions, the Barkers are actively involved in their church, Woodhaven Baptist, and lead active civic lives. Bob and Pat Barker's deep and abiding faith are evident in who they are and all that they do. The way they live their lives with a love for God and neighbor continues to leave an indelible mark on Campbell University and countless others.
Thank you, Dr. Hammond, and in recognition of the nobility of character and Christian charity reflected in their lives, and in deepest appreciation for their service to their community in Campbell University, the Campbell University Board of Trustees is pleased to present the Barkers the Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award for 2021. Congratulations, Barkers. It's my honor to introduce our commencement speaker this morning, an Ig Scholar and 1995 summa cum laude graduate of Campbell University. Dr. Henry R. Capps, or Hank, earned his medical degree from the Brody School of Medicine, where he was awarded a full scholarship. He completed his residency in family medicine in Concord, North Carolina, where he served as chief resident in his final year. In 2002, Dr. Capps joined Lakeside Family Physicians, where he began both his practice and career in medical administration. For much of his career, Dr. Capps has worked with Novant Health. In addition to his role as a practicing physician, his multiple administrative posts included Senior Vice President and Chief Digital Health and Engagement Officer, Chief Operating Officer of Novant Health's Physician Network, Chief Operating Officer of its medical group, Senior Vice President of its Physician Services Medical Group, and Chief Medical Information Officer of its medical group. Earlier this year, Dr. Capps joined Wellstar Health in Atlanta as Executive Vice President and Chief Information and Digital Officer. In this role, Dr. Capps will lead digital strategy for practices at multiple sites that include 11 hospitals, more than 300 medical offices, 55 rehabilitation centers, 21 imaging centers, 15 urgent care locations, 9 cancer centers, 3 hospice facilities, and a retirement village. While attending Campbell, Dr. Capps received the Phi Kappa Phi Graduate Fellowship Award and the prestigious Algernon Sidney Sullivan Award for students. He was an officer of Omicron Delta Kappa, Phi Eta Sigma, Epsilon Pi Eta, and the Pre-Medical Allied Health Honor Society. In 2006, he received Campbell University's Distinguished Alumnus Award. He is currently serving his third term on the Campbell University Board of Trustees and is presently serving as Vice Chair of the Board. Dr. Capps and his wife Jennifer, who is also a graduate of Campbell University, are the proud parents of Lindsay and Austin. The Capps are also members of the Mecklenburg Community Church in Charlotte. We are Campbell proud of Dr. Hank Capps, and it is our honor and privilege to have him here today and welcome him to the podium. Dr. Capps.
Well, good morning. I want to acknowledge each of you, graduates, students, faculty, administration, and special guests. It's my distinct honor and privilege to be with you on this very special day on a campus that holds so many memories as we celebrate the close of the 135th year since the founding of Campbell University. And oh, what a year it's been. As Dr. Creed said, there has truly been no year more deserving of Campbell's motto, ad aspera per aspera, to the stars through difficulty. Your days at Campbell have no doubt seemed like both an eternity and a flash of time. Now I stand before you humbly observing that you are at a defining moment of your life. You have worked, at times struggled and doubted, and ultimately achieved what might have seemed like a distant goal just a few short years ago, a college degree. Although each person in this graduating class has had a unique path to this stadium, you now share a defining moment. Throughout your life, you'll experience many defining moments. In my comments today, I plan to explore how these defining moments are a catalyst for the development of values, purpose, and action in our lives. Throughout the history of Campbell, from the early days of Buies Creek Academy to the present-day world-class university, the leaders and mission of Campbell University have always included strong Christian values. From the university's humble beginning in May of 1887, the dream of an ineffective book salesman, values have pervaded the foundation. Values rooted in universal truths connect our day-to-day decisions to the achievement of our purpose. A stark contrast to the beginnings of Campbell, when 21 students gathered in a one-room building and were invited to study regardless of the ability to pay, we now live in a society that often emphasizes success measured in dollars and cents and personal liberty above caring for each other. We live in a culture where the top 5 Google searches of 2020 were coronavirus, election results, Kobe Bryant, Zoom, and IPL. We've been glued to our phones and trapped in our figurative and literal dorm rooms as we've watched the world transform before us under the pressure of a global pandemic. We've at times struggled to be compassionate and unified when we have far more in common than the extremes would concede. We have lost so many. We've had new verbs enter our lexicon, like zooming. And what is IPL? Well, it's the Indian Premier League, a cricket league from halfway around the world that illustrates we are far more global today than ever before. And I would be remiss to not acknowledge halfway around the world the continued struggles that are happening in India. as well. So, with that context and the acknowledgement that we as a society are on the cusp of a reshaped normal, how do we cultivate values in our lives through all of this cultural chaos? Well, values play a significant role in shaping our daily lives and relationships. They are the firmly held convictions that drive our behaviors and beliefs. Albert Einstein once said, "Try not to become a person of success, but rather a person of value." Sometimes we do not easily recognize when a defining moment is shaping our values. Like this story James Linfesti once told about a little boy and his father. Every year, the boy and his dad would venture to their lake cabin for an annual trip to celebrate the beginning of fishing season. This particular year was special, as the young boy had saved up money for weeks to buy a brand new fishing pole. He absolutely couldn't wait to start fishing. His father and he arrived one day before fishing season and started making all of the preparations. They went to the grocery store and the bait shop, where they bought all of the supplies for the weekend. That evening, full of energy, the boy begged his father to go out to the lake for a practice run to test out the new fishing pole. So the boy and his father made their way to the lake. After a couple of hours of fishing on the lake, the evening had set in as the moon began to rise. His father warned the boy that they only had a few minutes left, as they needed to get to bed and get ready for the big morning. After that time, the new fishing pole was bent by something heavy. The boy grabbed onto the pole and held it as tightly as he possibly could. As the boy struggled, the father thought something very large might be attached to the other end. The boy pulled the fish in, and as he and his father lifted it out of the water, the boy realized that it was the biggest fish he had ever seen. They both admired the fish proudly. Then the father looked at his watch and realized that it was only 9 p.m., 3 hours before fishing season was to begin. The boy at first thought his dad was joking. It couldn't be before fishing season had begun. This is the fish I just caught. I've got to keep this fish. They couldn't just release this fish, any other fish, but not this fish. As his father told him again, there would be other fish. He began to realize that he was serious. The tears began to well up in his eyes and then flow. As he looked around the lake, he realized all at once it was deserted. They would be the only ones to know when they caught that fish. He again pleaded with his father, and again his father responded, there would be other fish. Realizing that his father was not going to negotiate further with him about releasing the fish, the boy slowly unhooked the fish and lowered it back into the water. The boy knew he'd never see that fish again. The boy was hurt and he was angry. Now, over 30 years later, the same boy is a successful architect and takes his children to the same lake at the same family cabin. He never again caught a fish as incredible as that special fish. Long ago, a night spent with his father fishing served as a defining moment in his life. Because now every time he faces a question of ethics, he sees that same fish, the splendid one that he had released. You see, his father did not teach him a lot about fishing that evening, but he did teach him a lot about life. Today, as you stand at a crossroad in your life, celebrating an incredible achievement, I urge you to examine your values. We all can be tempted to define success by the world's standards. We see others define success as catching the biggest, best fish, whether it's a large house, a successful job, or a big salary. I urge you to look outside those narrowly construed constructs and consider it your responsibility to think beyond your own physical needs. You see, catching the biggest fish is a short-lived high. The boy would have surely enjoyed the moment of keeping the incredible fish, and had he kept the fish, the boy would have mounted it on his wall and reminisced repeatedly with others about catching that special fish. However, the question I pose to you today is, would the boy have grown into the same man? Probably not. Because on that day, the boy learned what was important was not what you have mounted on your wall. And so today, as you are experiencing a defining moment, remember your diploma fondly, but it will not shape your life as your values will. With values at the core, purpose is a dream that is fueled by your passions. It's your ultimate why that drives your mission. Henry David Thoreau said, "In the long run, men or women hit only what they aim for. Purpose propels you toward your calling." Mary Clark was born the middle child of 3 in an affluent family in Los Angeles, California in 1926. She grew up in a Beverly Hills mansion with frequent trips to an 11-room summer home overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Her dad was a successful Hollywood businessman. Growing up in the shadow of World War II, she dreamed of a meaningful job, a husband, children, wealth, and a large house. And after finishing school, she made her dreams come true and lived quite comfortably in Southern California. After 25 years, her marriage ended in an incredibly painful divorce. She commented, "Because a dream ends doesn't mean that it didn't come true once." She was at a defining moment in her life. With her marriage over and her children living lives of their own, who would she be? Working with a priest, she began traveling across the border to Mexico to take medicines and food to the poor. One day, while on one of these trips, she and the priest got lost in Tijuana and found themselves at a prison called La Mesa. She could not ignore what she saw. Her heart ached. She now knew the purpose for her life from that moment forward. She had a dream. She started learning Spanish, spending nights at the prison, and assisting both inmates and their families. And after years of working at the prison, Mary Clark became a permanent resident of La Mesa and became a nun known as Sister Antonia. She lived at La Mesa for over 41 years in a 10 by 10 foot concrete room without any of the conveniences of home. Sister Antonia offered tireless, energetic, unconditional love to each inmate. Father Joe Carroll commented, "Rhyme, reason, you can't rationalize why she did it. She has that one-on-one relationship with God. She had a purpose and a mission." Mary Clark's defining moment was a devastating loss of a marriage. At that time, she could have eased into a quiet suburban life. But instead, Mary Clark, who was an ordinary person, discovered how to use her values. And she discovered them on that day when she wandered into La Mesa. Today, as you graduate, you have the opportunity to use this defining moment in your life as a means of defining your purpose and mission. Ponder it, write it down, read it often, share it. This purpose and mission will determine the opportunities for many of your future defining moments. Values and purpose are extremely important, but without action, They are like seeds placed on rocky soil. John W. Newberry said, people can be divided into three groups: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. Even the best of intentions without action are simply a fleeting thought, leaving no impact. About 5 years ago, we were working on developing the new customer service standards for our company. As a part of that process, we selected some of the top companies in the country to visit and learn firsthand how they delivered truly customer-centered service. For a moment, I want you to think about the best consumer experiences you've ever had. A few companies, no doubt, just popped into your head. A common denominator of all of these companies are strong values and purpose. But what truly differentiates the best of the best is their ability to act. You reset the bar of your expectations each time a company wows you. One of those companies that truly aspires to wow customers is a not-so-little shoe startup called Zappos. During a visit to Zappos, I was afforded the opportunity to see firsthand how purpose-driven actions made a real difference in the lives of one of their customers and a team of customer service agents. On an ordinary summer morning, a customer service agent answered what appeared to be a routine call about the wrong color shoes being delivered. A customer explained she had ordered the green shoes, but had received a pair of brown shoes. She explained the green shoes were very important. At Zappos, the response to the wrong pair of shoes being delivered is not typical. The customer service agent has a wide range of options to address issues and wow the customer. But even more importantly, they are taught to connect with each customer at a human level. The customer service agent first confirmed the green shoes were not in stock, and then offered for the customer to keep the brown shoes, and Zappos would refund her cost. The customer service agent apologized genuinely. At this point, she expected the usual response, which was, "Wow, can I really keep the brown shoes and you're going to refund my money?" But in this case, the customer became really quiet, and you could hear the sounds of a soft sniffle. The customer service agent recognized that something wasn't ordinary. In that moment, she did what she had been taught to do. She asked the customer, "Are you okay?" The lady, in a very soft voice, now overcome by tears, whispered no. She then shared that those green shoes were really important to her. They were the only shoes that matched the dress for her son's funeral, scheduled for later that day. Instantly, the customer service agent knew this was less about shoes and more about caring for this lady in the moment of need. At Zappos, they have a system to declare an emergency, yes, shoe emergencies, and divert the call center into a crisis. The customer service agent triggered that emergency response, and in a flash of time, the whole call center was now focused on finding those green shoes. Meanwhile, the customer service agent continued to comfort the lady over the phone. They checked the warehouse again and other locations across the country from now numerous companies until they found the green shoes. Not only did the team find the shoes, but they purchased them from a competitor and ensured they were delivered to the lady on that very same day and before the funeral. The customer service agent never stopped comforting the lady until she was able to explain that the green shoes were on their way and at no cost. faced with what seemed like impossible odds, action was required to deliver on the team's collective purpose and live out their values. For everyone in the room and the grieving lady, this was a defining moment, and it was not remotely about shoes. As you graduate today, you will face many challenges. Sometimes the temptation to take the path of least resistance will be appealing, to not act. Acting can be uncomfortable. From the floor of a call center to a dinner table to a protest march to a place of worship, when you leverage your values and purpose to make a difference, you have no choice but to act, and you can literally change the world. Since at this point in any graduation speech, almost everyone's mind has begun to wander, I want to take a brief break from the serious. I spent multiple sleepless nights on this next section just for all of you, the class of 2021. I've entitled it, The Top 10 Signs That You're Not Going to Graduate from Campbell University. Number 10, your favorite dining server at the student union says, anything particular you'd like to eat next semester? Number 9, during final exams, you see flyers posted by Dr. Creed inviting everyone to a prayer vigil on your behalf. Number 8, when you raise your hand in class, the professor says, you might want to save your comments for next semester. Number 7, at the bookstore when you try to buy that bright orange Campbell blazer or the lovely camel brooch that's seemingly required of all us alumni, the salesperson kindly suggests you save your money for textbooks. Number 6, as you turn in your biochemistry final exam, Dr. Weaver hands you your very own copy of Biochemistry for Dummies. Number 5, you're invited to store all of your belongings in your dorm room over summer break. Number 4, Dr. Martin, your faculty advisor, suggests you consider a career in student government. Number 3, while I've been reading this list, you've already nodded your head at least twice. Number 2, instead of a cap and gown, you were issued a new mask and a bottle of hand sanitizer. And the number 1 sign that you're not going to graduate from Campbell University is you received an email allowing you to secure exclusive early access to the fall 2021 schedule. For my parting comments, I want to share with you a traditional folk tale that has always been special to me, called The Tale of 3 Trees. This version was retold by Angela Hunt. Once upon a mountaintop, 3 little trees stood and dreamed of what they wanted to become when they grew up. The first little tree looked at the stars twinkling like diamonds above him. I want to be covered with gold and filled with precious stones. I will be the most beautiful treasure chest in the world. The second little tree looked out at the small stream trickling by on its way to the ocean. I want to be a strong sailing ship, he said. I want to travel mighty waters and carry powerful kings. I will be the strongest ship in the world. The third little tree looked down into the valley below where busy men and busy women worked in a busy town. I want to grow so tall that when people look at me, they will raise their eyes to heaven and think of God. I will be the tallest tree in the world. Years passed, the rain came, the sun shone, and the little trees grew tall. One day, 3 woodcutters climbed the mountain. The first woodcutter looked at the first tree and said, This tree is beautiful. It is perfect for me. And with a swoop of his shining axe, the first tree fell. Now I shall be made into a beautiful chest, thought the first tree. I shall hold wonderful treasure. The second woodcutter looked at the second tree and said, this tree is strong. It is a perfect tree for me. And with a swoop of his shining axe, the second tree fell. Now I shall sail the mighty waters, thought the second tree. I shall be a strong ship fit for kings. The third tree felt her heart sink when the last woodcutter looked her way. She stood straight and tall and pointed bravely to heaven, but the woodcutter never even looked up. Any kind of tree will do for me, he muttered, and with a swoop of his shining axe, the third tree fell. The first tree rejoiced when the woodcutter brought him to a carpenter shop, but the busy carpenter was not thinking about treasure chest. Instead, his work-worn hands fashioned the tree into a feed box for animals. The once beautiful tree was not covered with gold or filled with treasure, but coated with sawdust and filled with hay for hungry farm animals. The second tree smiled when the woodcutter took him to a shipyard, but no mighty sailing ships were being made that day. Instead, the once strong tree was hammered and sawed into a simple fishing boat. Too small and too weak to sail an ocean or even a river, he was taken to a little lake. Every day, he brought in loads of dead, smelly fish. The third tree was confused when the woodcutter cut her into strong beams and left her in a lumber yard. What happened? The once tall tree wondered. All I ever wanted to do was stay on that mountaintop and point to God. Many, many days and nights passed. The three trees nearly forgot their dreams. But one night, golden starlight poured over the first tree as a young woman placed her newborn baby in the feed box. I wish I could make a cradle for him, her husband whispered. The mother squeezed his hand and smiled as the starlight shone on the smooth and sturdy wood. This manger is beautiful, she said. And suddenly, the first tree knew he was holding the greatest treasure on earth. One evening, a tired traveler and his friends crowded into an old fishing boat. The traveler fell asleep as the second tree quietly sailed out into the lake. Soon, a thundering and thrashing storm arose. The little tree shuddered. He knew he did not have the strength to carry so many passengers safely through the wind and the rain. The tired man awakened. He stood up, he stretched out his arm, and said, "Peace." The storm stopped as quickly as it had begun. And suddenly, the second tree knew he was carrying the King of heaven and earth. One Friday morning, the third tree was startled when her beams were yanked from the forgotten woodpile. She flinched as she was carried through an angry, jeering crowd. She shuddered when soldiers nailed a man's hands to her. She felt ugly and she felt cruel. But on Sunday morning, when the sun rose and the earth trembled with joy beneath her, the third tree knew that God's love had changed everything. It had made the first tree beautiful. It had made the second tree strong. And every time people thought of the third tree, they would think of God. That was better than being the tallest tree in the world. So as I close, remember the tale of the three trees and know that your hopes and dreams may change over time. More importantly,
If you hold firm to your values, strive for purpose in your life, and act without complacency, you can use this defining moment of great accomplishment at Campbell University not as an ending, but a new beginning. Thank you, and God bless.
Dr. Capps, thank you for embodying and representing the values of Campbell University, and thank you reminding all of us here today of those values that we'll take forward with us once we leave this ceremony. Well, now we've come to the high point of the program, the much awaited time for the awarding of the degrees to the class of 2021. And to assist me in that, I invite Provost Hammond to the podium for the presentation of the candidates.
Good morning. First, all degrees for those persons whose names are listed in the program will be called, and for those not present or who are joining today via live stream will be granted in absentia. Second, the tradition of Campbell University is for the family and friends of each graduate to stand as the graduate is receiving his or her degree. Given the wonderful nature of our large outdoor venue, you may also applaud your student when you stand and acknowledge him or her. Third, to honor the significance of the occasion, while applauding, still please demonstrate respect for all in the stadium. Finally, the names of the graduates will be called Mr. Burt Wallace, Professor of Theater Arts in the College of Arts and Sciences. As students cross the stage, they will receive their diplomas from President Creed. They will also be extended congratulations by their academic deans. Modern academic attires are entrenched in traditions that date back to the 12th and 13th centuries. Each piece of the costume carries meaning and significance. From the earliest days, graduates have worn caps adorned with tassels. After years, the shape and construction of the cap has changed. However, it is always adorned with a tassel that indicates by color the level of the degree awarded. In addition to indicating the level of the degree, the position of the tassel also symbolizes the confirming of the degree. A tassel worn on the right signifies the degree has not been awarded. A tassel worn on the left indicates the degree has been conferred. This morning, I will invite you, the students, to turn your tassels after degree candidates have crossed the stage by group and have returned to your respective seats. I will prompt you when it is time to turn your class ring and tassels. And now the moment you've been waiting for. Will all candidates for degrees please stand now? At this time, President J. Bradley Creed will confer the degrees upon you as presented in the graduation program. You will then present yourself by the appropriate degrees as you are recognized. Dr. Creed, upon the recommendation of the deans and faculties of the university and the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost of the university, we hereby present the candidates for the degrees as presented in the graduation program.
Thank you, Dr. Hammond. Upon the recommendation of the Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost and the deans and faculties of the schools of Campbell University, I am pleased to confer upon you the degrees earned with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations, graduates, and please be seated.
Today we celebrate graduates who are participating both remotely and in person. We will acknowledge all graduates by degree. Candidates who are participating remotely will be graduated in absentia. Mr. Wallace will first read the names of graduates participating remotely. Then he will read the names of the graduates participating in person. Graduates, please come forward to receive your diploma when I invite your degree group. Will the candidates for the degrees Associate in Arts, Associate of Science, Bachelor of Applied Science, and Bachelor of Health Science please stand and come forward to receive your diploma?
Candidates participating remotely and graduating in absentia are as follows: Ashley Brooke Barber, Matthew Valdemar Boyd, Terrell LaRon Enoch, Dakari D. Heidelberg, Bradley Todd Herring, Wesley Adam Lewis, Karina Guadalupe Rosales, Jonathan Kurt Smith, Bruce Medrano Taka, Kevin Daniel Turcios, Chandrick D. Walton, Larry Alexander Watley, James Whitfield, Gloria Quintana Ward, Troy Logan Brown, Joseph Eli Dalrymple, summa cum laude, Tianwen Duan, magna cum laude, Antoine Lavares Givens, cum laude, Rodolfo Eduardo Leal Jr., Joshua Martin Penn, cum laude, Keisha Renee Smith, Eric Neil Thomas, Lonzo Wallace, Lorenzo Michael Delutri, Liam Joseph McCarthy, magna cum laude, Heather Brooke Wheel. Candidates participating in person are as follows: Jonathan Darrell Freeman, Cassandra Marinda Rhodes, Edith Avalos, Anderson Kokilian, Teresita Cuevas Ariza, summa cum laude, Cooper Lofton Hall, Adam Christopher Corellis, cum laude, dual degree Bachelor of Science, John Bowers Rush, cum laude, dual degree Associate of Arts, Veronica V. Villarreal, Christopher C. Wellington, Zachary Gilbert Bowman, Mark Isaac Bushhouse, Rocco C. Conca, cum laude, Magic E. Iore, Michael Curtis Jones, Andrea Nicole Painter, Bernard Gerald Thorpes II. Carmen Maria Soto Vasilpanagos, magna cum laude. And other candidates not present but receiving degrees are William John Gelden, Mario Marcus Harris, Alhune Vilsaran Lario, magna cum laude. Cameron W. Roth, magna cum laude.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for these graduates. Will the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science please stand and come forward for your diploma?
Candidates participating remotely and graduating in absentia are as follows. Oluwadare A. Ajay, Christopher Owen Brame, Jeffrey Bryant, magna cum laude, Jimmy Mackenzie Bulger, Matthew James Downing III, magna cum laude, Michelle Fisher, Greg Fromer, cum laude, Savannah Ray Gaskins, cum laude, Noah Karsten Gonser, Ashlyn Elizabeth Hampton, magna cum laude, Jerry Renee Heath, magna cum laude, Madison Heggie, cum laude, Joshua Heil, dual degree Bachelor of Business Administration, Eric Robert Hellard, Curtis Armando Hill, magna cum laude, Sean Michael Jackson, Taylor Jenkins, summa cum laude, Sabrina Lowry, cum laude, Mariangeli Martinez Ruiz, John Alex McDuffie, Hunter Chase Query, Matthew Dylan Rogers, Kelsey Lauren Saul, magna cum laude, Stephen Louis Schmitz, Beatrice Tapia, Cassie Jeanette Vonchek, Adam Bradley Whitehurst. And candidates participating in person are as follows. Isis Ejoy Adams, Emmanuel Burton, cum laude, Samuel Reginald Adams, cum laude, Jennifer Nicole Anazuski, Alyssa Paige Arbutina, Grayana Brooke Ashley, Campbell Lena Brown, Devin Elizabeth Bondmiller, magna cum laude, Emma Kate Bailey, Erin Dawn Barefoot, Cameron Barker, Lucy Elizabeth Betts, Colin Ian Bledson, Sarah Grace Boone, summa cum laude. Kelly Brander, magna cum laude. Taylor Andrew Braswell, magna cum laude. Amanda Lynn Brechko, magna cum laude. Riley Jacob Brewington. Annie J. Bright, magna cum laude. Adam Broughton Britt, magna cum laude. Libby Louise Bynum, magna cum laude. Diana Wilson Kane. Alyssa Carpenter. Savannah Marie Cecil. Margaret Litton Clark. Vivica Jacques Clemens. Samantha Coley. Julia Claire Crocker. Catherine Grace Darragrand, summa cum laude. Ashley Blair Darrick, magna cum laude. Christian Brent Dawson Jackson. Celia Kendall Dennis, summa cum laude. Jonathan Andrew Dercole, magna cum laude. Jack Reagan Donovan. Logan Thomas Dubin, magna cum laude. Alexander Egeonu. Kaylee Deanne Eller. Justin Thomas Ely. Haley Brooke Farrow, cum laude. Brooke and Delora Fisher, magna cum laude. Jesse Fisk. Caroline Elizabeth Fountain, summa cum laude. Caleb Freeman. Renee Deborah Fullard, cum laude. Jonathan Nicholas Gower. Ashley N. Goddard. Jimmy Thomas Godwin, Jr. Samuel Graham Elmore, cum laude. Lonnie William Matthew Grant IV. Hope Marie Harrington. Josh Hetherington. Jared Scott Hill. Austin Height. Jacob Hoppel. Alexander John Hrika. Desmond Andre Jackson. Elizabeth C. Johnson. William Wood Johnson, Jr. Zaire Marquis Johnson. Dorian T. Jones. Bridget Rose Kearns, summa cum laude. Caroline Grace King. Anna K. Klopfenstein. Gracie Ruth Lee. Jeremy Matthew Lewis, summa cum laude. Zoe Miranda Malfers, cum laude. Abigail Grace Manzaro. Jose Joaquin Martinez II. Juliet Marie Makovich. Megan Lee McCrae, cum laude. Haley Autumn McLaurin. Emma Catherine McNeil. Tyron McRae. Caitlin Rose Millen. Diana Brooke Moore, cum laude. Garrett John Moore, cum laude. Philip Dwayne Moss. Garrett Ryan Mazingo. Alexander Jacques Mueller. Lena W. Nejas. Alexander Ki An Nguyen, summa cum laude. Sarah Michelle Null, cum laude. Simone Palomo Martinez. Grace Park, cum laude. Angie Pilar Posada. Reese Angelo Raymond. Diavante Deshonique Reddick. Travis Garrett Reedy. Zachary Michael Reynolds. Haley Jennifer Robbins, magna cum laude. Alyssa Renee Salitro. Jennifer Susie Salazar Sanchez. Jonas Sheehan. Daniel William Snyder. Ciara Nicole Sutherland, summa cum laude. Abigail Hope Spencer. Bryce Alexander Sprinkle, cum laude. Anika Caitlin Guadalupe Stewart. Ashton Taylor Thompson. Andrew Thornton. Janae Michon Townsell, magna cum laude. Kirsten Aubrey Underwood, magna cum laude. Logan Davis Vance. Lindsay Celestine Vest, cum laude. Caitlin Lee Vester, cum laude. Jessica Lynn Wakeman, summa cum laude. David Andrew Ward. Hannah Nicole Weaver. Wyatt Christopher Welton. Kylie Sarah West, cum laude. Henry Taylor White II. Tillman Leanne Whitley. Riley Wilson. Hannah Marie Wilson. Travis McCoy Wilson, cum laude. Patrick Cameron Blue Womack, magna cum laude. Sarah Ching Yi Wong, magna cum laude. Aishan Daquan Wright. Caitlin Jean Yeoman. Mario Zamora Ceja. Maritza Sarhi Zuniga Huete. Other candidates not attending in person but receiving degrees are Elahe Aflaki, Yarhele Yunin Calderon, Julieta G. Cruz, summa cum laude, Christina Jacqueline Jennings, Michael Soares Lond, Aaliyah J. McCall, Jacayla McClendon, James Wilfred Orehan.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for these graduates. And now, will the candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Music please stand and come forward to receive your diploma.
Candidates participating remotely and graduating in absentia are Brantley A. Cooper, Shelby Leanne Flores, cum laude, Mackenzie Grady, Stephanie Ann Griffin, Sarah Elizabeth Hanaclau, Sarah Elizabeth Lockamy, magna cum laude, Emily Paula Murillo, Hannah Onks. Candidates participating in person are as follows. Mason Lee Adams, Jose M. Alamo Centeno, Marcus Grant Alford, Hannah Grace Allen, summa cum laude. Michaela Nicole Anter, dual degree Bachelor of Science. Megan Elise Broadway. Nicole Brianna Byron, summa cum laude. Casey Joan Cabanas, magna cum laude. Annette Elizabeth Coe, cum laude. Natasha Renee Kaur, magna cum laude. Ashira Dejana Korpening. Stephen Garner Creech, summa cum laude. Grayson Elizabeth Dale, magna cum laude. Marcus Dunn. Caitlin Edwards, dual degree Bachelor of Science. Taylor Page Edwards. Ferdinand Lee Faison, summa cum laude. Brandon Clark Fan. Paula Lizeth Funes, summa cum laude. Jaden Alexander Grimes, cum laude. Jeanette Marie Bankaren Haynes, magna cum laude. Danielle Alexandra Holquist, dual degree Bachelor of Science. Joshua Chamberlain Jensen. Kennard Johnson, magna cum laude. Megan Kleba, magna cum laude. Hannah Lee Lassiter, cum laude. Nicholas R. Loscalzo, summa cum laude, dual degree Bachelor of Science. Ray P. Miller, Jr. Micah Mark Mooring. Francisco Nelson. Lincoln Oakley. Dalen Randy Page. Macy Faith Pate, summa cum laude. Christian William Harris Perkins. Morgan Nicole Pope. Noel Dixon Pope, cum laude. Zachary Charles Potter. Eddie Bernard Rocks III. Eddie Rocks. Alexandra Maria Salim, dual degree Bachelor of Science. Donnie Stewart, Jr., summa cum laude, dual degree Bachelor of Science. Caroline Brantley Vick. Joshua David Wyrick. Summer Maria Williams, magna cum laude. Justin Willis, summa cum laude. Mariana Catherine DeAndrea, summa cum laude. Caitlin Elizabeth Havican, magna cum laude. Abigail Elizabeth Kolb, summa cum laude. Benjamin Hunter Miller. Molly Juliet Palumbo, magna cum laude. Jason Thomas Purrier, cum laude. Aislinn Ramos, cum laude. Aislinn Ramos. Other candidates graduating and not appearing in person are Mason Lee Houston Burgess and Ryan M. Parquette.
Will all graduates rise? now turn your official class rings such the insignia on the stone is facing away from you. You may also now move your tassels from the right to the left side of your cap. Congratulations, class of 2021. Let's give them a big round of applause. You may be seated.
Well, how about that? That's great. So proud of all of you. I'm now pleased to recognize Lieutenant Colonel Philip Goddard, Professor of Military Science of the Campbell Battalion, who will present graduates in the class of 2021 who are members of the Army ROTC program and who will be commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army. Lieutenant Colonel Goddard.
President Creed, Provost Hammond, Dean Wells, families and friends, today is a tremendous day for the Army's newest lieutenants. I want to thank you not only for your presence today, but for the support you have given to the fine men and women who will leave here today to lead the next generation of America's soldiers. To the newly commissioned second lieutenants, I extend my deepest and most heartfelt congratulations. You have earned it, and more importantly, you are ready to lead. To the leadership, faculty, and staff of Campbell University, thank you for your continued outstanding support to the Campbell ROTC program. I can think of no greater institution to set the intellectual and moral compasses of the young men and women commissioning today. The outstanding achievements these second lieutenants will accomplish throughout their careers reflect not only initial training they have received to become officers in ROTC, but the first-class academic and social experiences that they received here at Campbell, where academic excellence is balanced with the university's unwavering commitments to God and country. These new officers will travel the globe over the coming decades to lead with honor. They'll lead in the military, they'll lead in government, in business, and in philanthropic organizations. Your investment in them over the past 4 years will pay dividends beyond what we can possibly imagine today. To our newest officers, in just a moment, each of you will recite the oath of office. I bid you Godspeed as you start your path you have chosen, the path of leading soldiers in war and in peace. May you well and faithfully discharge your duties, so help you God. Finally, I would like to recognize those who have paved the way for the next generation of Army leaders. If you are active duty, a veteran, or representing a veteran who cannot be here today, I invite you to stand to be recognized and join me as I administer the oath of office to our newest officers. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing the Army's newest second lieutenants. Each lieutenant will now receive their first salute. Second Lieutenant Melissa Godinez, Signal Branch, New York National Guard. Second Lieutenant Megan Kleba, Military Intelligence, Fort Carson, Colorado. Second Lieutenant Logan Dubin, Signal, Fort Carson, Colorado. Second Lieutenant Travis Reedy, Infantry, Fort Benning, Georgia. Second Lieutenant Jacob Hopel, Air Defense Artillery, Fort Bliss, Texas. Second Lieutenant Andre De Jesus, Transportation, Fort Lewis McChord, Washington. Second Lieutenant Justin Willis, Medical Services, Fort Stewart, Georgia. Second Lieutenant Anderson Kokian, Quartermaster, Smith Barracks, Germany. Second Lieutenant Jose Alamo, Air Defense Artillery, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Second Lieutenant Jonas Sheehan, Field Artillery, Fort Hood, Texas. Second Lieutenant Jack Donovan, Infantry, Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington. Second Lieutenant Adam Whitehurst, Chemical, Florence, South Carolina. Second Lieutenant Jeremy Lewis, Military Intelligence, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Second Lieutenant Magic Iore, Medical Service, Vilshek, Germany. Second Lieutenant Zachary Potter, Quartermaster, Fort Wainwright, Alaska. Ladies and gentlemen, your newest second lieutenants.
Thank you, and we thank these newly commissioned officers for the service they will render to our country. Well, after an unprecedented year, this is an unforgettable day, is it not? It's your graduation, it's your day, and it's a beautiful day to celebrate this occasion. The last time that I was involved in an outdoor graduation was at my own high school graduation in the Tomato Bowl, which was the football field of Jacksonville, Texas. And I won't tell you what year that was, but Gerald Ford was into the 9th month of his presidency. The Pittsburgh Steelers had won the Super Bowl, and disco was making its way over the radio. I will have enduring memories of that occasion, but I know I will remember this day as well, and it was an honor to share it with you. And over the coming months, many of you will be on your way to many different destinations across North Carolina and all over the nation and even throughout the world. And so I want to thank you for choosing Campbell as the place for your education, the place where your life has been formed over these last few years. There are more than 4,400 colleges and universities throughout these United States, but you made a decision to come here, and for that I thank you. It's a decision that has changed your life forever, and your decision to be here has changed this institution. Because a university is more than brick and mortar, curriculum and manuscripts, athletic programs and social networks. People, past, present, and future, make up Campbell University and give it its unique identity and its strong sense of community. I even say that you graduates are the soul of Campbell University. Campbell is now your alma mater, which means your nourishing or your great mother. There is no other institution except perhaps your church with which you will have such a special and lasting relationship. You are now forever a part of Campbell University, and Campbell University, wherever you go and whatever you do, is a part of you. Please know that we will miss you. We are proud of you, the class of 2021, and you are always welcome back here. Remember that here in this thriving university village located next to the creek in the sandhills of North Carolina, there are people who will think of you. They will remember your name, and they will be grateful that you were a member of this academic community. As you move to the next chapter of your life, be reminded of the teaching of Jesus. He reminded us that those who aspire to greatness are those who have learned to serve others. We wish you much success in making a good living. But most importantly, we hope that you will make a good life, which involves choosing a life of service and making life better for all human beings. When you do this, you aspire to greatness, and you truly make a difference now and forevermore. And I invite you to hear the blessing of the prophecy of Zechariah as recorded in the Gospel of Luke. May you know the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven to shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. And at this time, I ask that Dr. Beth Rubin, Dean of the Adult and Online Education Program, join me at the podium to give the prayer of benediction. Dean Rubin.
Thank you. Please rise. Let us pray. Loving God, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, God, sovereign of all, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us together to this wonderful day. Be with us as we go from this place, as we rise up, as we lie down, and as we walk along the way. And we say, Amen.
Please remain standing as the University Mace and Platform Party exit. We will ask our parents and friends to remain standing as the graduates exit the field. Now, graduates, on my right, I'll encourage you to go to this corner with the larger side of the stands, and graduates to my left to the opposite corner. Move on from the gates once you exit to give room for others to exit the area. Encourage you to go onto the parking lot or at least clear the gate area.